everybody, welcome. Thank you for being here today. So it's another scorcher out. So welcome to the creek reading. We're gonna dive on deep, get you some clarity, see what the energy is that's going on, and whatever messages need to come through, that would be the most helpful for you. It is still a timeless collective reading. See what feels like it resonates. If a message comes through and it doesn't make any sense to you, it could be a message for someone else. Keep in mind, open heart. It could also be a message that is for you, but makes sense later. Always tune into that divine connection that you have to your higher self, to God, to source, to the universe, because the answer is it's always in you. And try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, they're based in love and for the highest and greatest good of everybody. So we're all uplifted in love. I brought the tea leaf here, but I had to figure out how to do the shuffling with 200 cards. So let's begin with some general insight and see what comes through. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ Consciousness, our higher selves, angels, and energies of love have for the highest and greatest good of all. Guess what came through here? You got a little goldfish swimming. I have never seen goldfish in the creek, but I have seen sunnies. So a goldfish is a very powerful symbol. First, the energy of gold, golden energy, something that's very high valuable. It's also usually an omen for abundance. It reminds me a little bit of a koi. I am getting a little koi energy here. So abundance, prosperity. Maybe there's also a situation that's growing for you. Good catch. Because I feel like if you have a goldfish in a teeny tiny little tank, it's not going to be very big. But then if you adjust the size of where it can swim around, something can grow bigger. So maybe your environment is growing, or maybe you felt like a big fish in a little pond. Maybe that is no more. I also feel something down here on my leg. It's definitely financial for some of you. It's an increase. I think there's a storm coming. Did you hear that? It's going to be an interesting reading. Let's just keep going. Increase in material wealth and spiritual growth. I feel like this is you following something that's written in the stars for you. That's why it feels like a destiny kind of energy, or something where all of a sudden you say yes through these doors of opportunity that feel like they twinkle. It's not the door you're like, I don't know if I want to go in there. It's where you open that door and that sparkly golden light is like beaming on you. And it probably began from you following your joy, doing something that makes you joyful, that makes you happy, because that's where everything starts to open up. I am getting a big door opening for some of you. And whatever that door is, somebody asking you out, somebody offering you a job, somebody taking you to a hallway that points you to maybe many open doors. So I do feel like for some of you have an in-betweener stage kind of thing. So I don't know why I saw the reverse of, what do they call those? Like the Russian dolls, but that energy, but getting bigger, and their doorways. I hope that made sense. So maybe it's like a tiny little door, and then, you have to squeeze through that little door. You squeeze through and you're like, oh, this room's a little bigger. Okay, all right, okay, well, there's another little door over there. I might have to get on my knees over there, but I can get through that, not as hard this time. I don't have to squeeze through. And I feel like these doors are getting bigger. And each time you step into a room, the energy, it's like the energy changes. The colors feel different. The vibration feels better. You feel more free. I'm also getting that your confidence is building with something. For some of you, I am getting... I keep hearing offer. Maybe you're the one even gifting somebody, an opportunity, making an offer. Maybe they can't refuse, or they shouldn't. But I feel like for most of you, somebody's giving you that gift. For some of you, it might not even, it's like that tiny door. For some of you, it might be, I actually hear volunteer. So maybe you feel like you're doing something, it might take a little bit of extra elbow grease, but even if you're like volunteering for something, there's either somebody you're gonna meet that's going to offer you something you get paid for, or it's expansion on your skill, increase in your contacts or your connections, your network, or I don't know, I feel like it's almost that thing, you show up and you're like, you know, let's see if we're a match here, and we'll give it a go one time, and there's something that's going to be a match. And if you are not in a match in that thing you are volunteering for, there's somebody you're going to connect to that definitely matches and grooves with your thing, your vibration. So that's really fun. I like that. I keep seeing that door growing, like a bigger and bigger doorway. Let's get you another one. What's another one? September might be really important for some of you. Maybe some of you are Virgo or Libra, or there's a birthday in September. Maybe big changes finally start around September. I just thought of the Earth, Wind, and Fire song. That's a great song. That's very specifically the 21st of September. I always try to find a place where I can play that kind of in public on that specific day. Like I'll find a jukebox somewhere and I'll be like, I just have to play this song in public so they can all hear, because it's only one day of the year you can hear it. Actually, speaking of songs, on my way down here, I did have the most random song come into my head, and I haven't heard it in a long time. I want to say it's the band Take That, a little attitude, but I think that's the band. I did not look it up because I'm, walking down here. But I keep hearing the one, You'll Be Right and Understood, or it's the, I'll just sing it. Whatever I said, whatever I did, I didn't mean it. I just want you back for good. Want you back. I want you back for good. Whenever I'm wrong, just tell me this song and I'll sing it. You'll be right and understood. So maybe somebody felt misunderstood, or somebody misunderstood you. Maybe somebody wanted to always be right, and you were just coming from a spiritual perspective. Maybe somebody wants you back for good. There's something about in the beginning of the song, I'm getting that, like, in the twist of separation. That I'm only getting like a couple of weird sporadic lines, and I might have them wrong. I haven't listened to that song in a long time. In the twist of separation. So maybe there was a twist of separation. Maybe there's a little twist coming in that's going to bring something back, or the right thing in. And that separation doesn't have to be a romantic partner. There could be maybe separation from somebody via distance, via time. It could be friends, family, co-workers. I am seeing that it is love for most of you, but maybe somebody that you separated from a while ago is wanting you back. We'll keep diving in, but let's get a couple more of these. What did I say I saw? What did I say I saw before? I keep seeing the door, the big old door. You got a door. I love that the door came through. Just to remind you guys, there are 200 cards in this deck, and they are so random. So there's your door. You got a door. Double whammy, confirmation. Besides the download I got, that there is a door of opportunity. For some of you, maybe it is towards wealth. For some of you, maybe it is going towards this door that expands your spirit and your soul and just makes everything in your life twinkle a little extra. Maybe for some of you, this is a divine download. If some of you had a big old block on your intuition, I feel like something is busting open. I'm also getting that some of you may have tried to push a door down in an energetic sense. So let's just go with, because we have that spiritual card, let's go with spiritual insight. If you really want to get an answer, or you really want to get that spiritual download, there's a dichotomy with that energy. When you want it so bad that your ego is stepping in and you are desiring something, but you're energetically like holding on to that thing, you're not allowing it to come in. Because when it's spiritual insight, it's totally separate from ego, from, you know, your mind jibber jabber. It's open. You know, when it's the truth, it's gentle, it's loving, it's for the greatest good of all. And it's not always what you want to hear, but it is what you need to hear or what would be helpful for you. And sometimes it's a timing thing. Sometimes something is happening behind a big old closed door. You're not meant to know it yet. Especially if it's a spiritual surprise for you. So don't ruin the surprise. Try to go breaking down the door where, you know, God's baking you a big old awesome cake. Wait till something rises. Wait till something is revealed for you. In the meantime, you will still get insight and clues on your next step or the best thing for you to go to right now. Sometimes you have to kind of go the long way around. Sometimes you're gifted the shortcut, the Easter egg, like a video game, and you can like pop into a world that feels like you just jumped a couple dimensions. You just jumped a couple lifetimes. But wherever you are in your journey is where you need to be. So what does this even say? Opportunities are waiting for you. For some of you, you're getting like the secret like knock. You know, you're getting that secret little like, what is that? Like the secret password to get in. And that's like your clue to get in something that maybe is locked to everybody else but you. Or maybe everybody else but you and who you're supposed to be working with. Or I just heard embracing in this opportunity. Maybe there is a love. I actually see two people that haven't seen each other in a long time. Like, I don't know, that was weird. It was like a movie. Like run to each other and like somebody picks the other one up, like swirls them around. Maybe somebody's going to be really happy to see you. We're really happy to have you on board. I am thinking of that song by Harry Styles. When I look at that, it's a weird video, but I do like that song. It's Adore You. I'll put that below. It's interesting. I get the name and I can see the video. Can't hear the song right now. So let's stick to those three. So we have September, Goldfish, and Door. For some of you, this opportunity might come in September. Maybe you have some preparation. Maybe it's taking a lot of time for God to bake your awesome cake because it's going to be a big one. You know, there's a lot of special little details he's putting on the top of it for you, or she. So let's go to something different. What? Let's see. Let's get, well, let's go general. Let's go to the tarot. I used to use this particular deck a lot. I have a few different sizes of this. It's the Morgan Greer. It's very 1979. There's another song for you. What is that? Smashing, I think that's Smashing Pumpkins. I feel a bug on my back. Don't mind me. But I had to put some bikinis on the naked ladies here. So let's get a couple of tarot for you to clarify Goldfish, September, and the Door. Also, I don't know, you guys are getting a playlist today. There's another song by Teddy Swims called The Door, and it is very good. The Door. No more thinking about you late night. No more running around with your friends now. I'm picking pieces of my soul up off the floor. I said I would die for you, baby. Like, you'd be singing in the creek for years. But I can't take this pain no more. I thought I was willing, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. So maybe some of you have to show someone the door. Maybe for some of you, if that's somebody unhealthy and it's more like the runaround and it's more like a door, you know, where you go into a hotel and it just kind of goes around and around and around and around. You don't feel like you ever get off into one of those rooms, or only that you keep going in the same room and it doesn't feel like that sparkly kind of energy. Maybe some of you have to be strong, or you were. Maybe some of you, I'm getting like, don't hit the door, don't let the door hit you with the, you know what. Oh, I feel like attitude all of a sudden. So maybe some of you had to, give somebody a little attitude or a little tough love, or just give somebody the old boot, See my water shoes. otherwise it's slippy in here. All right, let's just get you a couple of tarot. What would be the main energy for you right now to know about? What's the main energy going on around the collective, please, and thank you. I really like this. You have the Knight of Pentacles. This particular knight is, very much in his or her armor. But the Knight of Pentacles is where, it's where sometimes there's a lot going on behind that door and you don't always see how hard somebody is working, or in the cave. There's your spiritual light. That's also, maybe for some of you, this has to do with, you got kind of double Virgo energy here. And maybe triple, because this is Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus-ish. It doesn't have to mean that you have to be a Virgo or a Capricorn. It's that energy that somebody's embodying. But the Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady, but usually reaches the goal in the end. We'll take a little peek upside down. Upside down, it's the knight. It's the person that has all the capability of really putting some hard, beautiful work into an experience, and they sit on the couch a little too long. They get a little complacent, or something became a little too messy, so that beginning never occurs. Or somebody begins something and then they feel a little unstable if something isn't working out according to the plan. Because this is usually somebody that has a plan. It's usually, something they can see ahead quite a while in the distance. But this knight has to remember to really focus on the step they are on. I always just like to use, the field. If this knight is out planting a field and recognize that my horse is a little tired today, and my horse isn't working so much, and I'm a little tired, I got a little backache from doing that, I'm gonna go in and you know what, I need a little nap. I need to listen to the body, listen to the horse, take a little break-a-roo, get the energy back. So tomorrow it's going to be a day of planting the field or harvesting the field, whatever it is. This is where this knight is smart enough to recognize that on a daily, I don't know why I heard maintenance, but on a daily basis, there's adjustments that are needed. The weather might be different. The energy might be different. Whatever needs adjusting, it's getting that energy grounded, doing what you have to do, or not doing something else, so that eventually all of these beautiful steps build up and something can really blossom and become a harvest. And then at that harvest time, let's just say you just harvested all these berries. So then what do? Then you're going to can the berries. You're going to get ready for the winter so you can make something last and preserve it. Or maybe they sell their cans of jam or jelly, whatever it is. It's like you have to keep, all right, one season is over. What's going to happen in the next season? What did you learn from the last season that you can utilize and do it better when the season comes around full circle again? So it's not that get to the goal and now you're done, put the trophy on the shelf and you're good. You had that experience. It's a buildup of experiences over and over and over. I always feel like there's a lot going on that people don't see with the Knight of Pentacles. So sometimes people think that Knight of Pentacles is just sitting on the couch watching Netflix, not doing anything. But usually that's the knight that is doing 5 things while the Netflix is on, or taking homework home, doing extra credit, doing, practicing something. So in the performance, it's perfect, but it doesn't mean everybody's in that person's living room seeing them practice or seeing them go to school, seeing them work on something. They might just see that final, performance, or that final presentation, or the trophy when somebody comes over to the house. They're like, that's a really nice trophy. How did you get that? Oh, I won a contest, or I was, employee of the month, or that's my degree for blah, 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 blah that I went to school for. but they're not really taking into account, okay, well, that's a nice little plaque on the wall, but that was also like 12 years of education every single day, busting your ass and up late night studying to get that. And it's like people sometimes only see the result and don't take into account all of the work that was done. So that could be your energy. That could be why you have opportunities and doors opening up to you. I think it's getting kind of, we might have a storm of brewing, guys. Let's just keep going. Here, it's the Hermit. This is somebody who's wise beyond their years, no matter what age they are. The Hermit is where somebody has to go internal. If there is chaos going on out there, or a big lesson that was learned, or something was really confusing, or there's something that has to be processed, need to process information, you know, or somebody needs to pull the plug and do the old reboot. The Hermit needs to take that space of meditation to go internal, to see like, did I learn from that situation? Was there a lesson from, you know, that chaos that they just came out of, that they need to really consider to turn that light on extra bright? Or if there's a situation where that Hermit had their light turned off by someone else, by the, you know, or even internally, like sometimes people think they have the light on. I don't know what I'm seeing. It's also getting really interesting energy here. Sometimes people have the light on. I'm getting that they go into a bigger room that's maybe dark, and even though that light can be bright in the smaller room, there's something about going in a bigger room, and now there needs to be a bigger light to see the writing on the wall that is there. It's in front of the Hermit's face, but they had to figure out a brighter light. Maybe the winds of change are coming. Should I be out here? I don't know what's happening. I hope it doesn't start to rain, but let's just keep going. Now, also a wise teacher. Can you see the trees? Let's keep going. It's going to be an interesting one, guys. The Hermit knows how to teach. Oh my gosh, all of these leaves are all over the place. It looks like it's like fall all of a sudden. All right, so if the Hermit is constantly, I'm going to kind of pack my bag just in case we need to segue up to upstairs somewhere where there's a roof. But if people are constantly using the Hermit's wisdom, right? So they're like, Hermit, Hermit, how do I turn my light on? Or Hermit, Hermit, can I use your wisdom? Can I use your light? What would I do in this situation? But then somebody is not learning. The Hermit is not afraid to be like, oh, you didn't learn? You didn't know how to turn that light on that I showed you how to do 200 times? You must not have heard that lesson. So I'm going to go in the other room, have my own light. I'm going to turn this light off. You're going to stay by yourself for a little bit in the dark, figure out where that light switch is. And when you figure it out, you'll find where's your door? I think I put the door away. You'll find the door and I'll be there. So sometimes that Hermit has to recognize when to toughen up a little bit and shut the light off on a certain situation so somebody can find their own spiritual illumination, their own communing with their higher self, with Source, with God. So maybe somebody did some deep meditation. Maybe the Hermit is finally getting off the couch, out of the cave, and taking that star energy there, paying attention to the step he's on, and using this rod of passion or support to feel the ground, to get something grounded, and to take steps towards usually others, because the Hermit's kind of a loner. It's like the no man is an island. If you are sitting at home, let's just say you did go to school for 12 years, you have all this wisdom, or all this wisdom from things you've experienced in your life, and you're meant to be a wise teacher or counselor, something like that, you know, where even if it's just strangers that you pass by, that you have, you know, little wise words of inspiration, because you don't have to be a teacher in a college to have inspirational words or a vibration that heals. It can just be a smile. It could just be some kind of inspiration that you share, passing somebody in the store. And that can be hugely impactful to another human. But if you're constantly inside and you're not out there sharing your gift, you know, if you went to school all these years and then you never tried to make it a career or used all that stuff you learned, I mean, it's great if you know it, but if you're not sharing it to heal the world or, you know, use that skill to connect in some way, especially if it's a skill that you enjoy, that's part of you, that's part of your star, that's part of why you are being gifted these blessings, then what good is it to learn everything? So sometimes the hermit has to get off the couch, you know, come out of the house and share what he or she knows. And if there's a hermit energy where they are always out amongst others and they start to feel a little overwhelmed, because I am getting that this hermit is kind of an empath. They have to know what's their light, you know, and what's somebody else's energy. And if there's too many energies around the hermit, sometimes they just need to retreat, go away, plug themselves back in, figure out who they are, you know, what their own energy is, and step back outside with that newly empowered sense of self. So it hasn't started to rain yet, so we're gonna keep going. But I'm gonna have to kind of shove some of these in the bag because it might be a quick exit. So let's get you a spirit message. I didn't even think it was gonna rain today. It was so hot. Maybe it'll cool things down a little bit. All right, let's get you one spirit message. What would be helpful? What is the main energy helpful for the collective? Please and thank you. Oh, do I have my glasses? Can I hold it back? If you find yourself, I feel like this message in different decks does keep coming through for you guys. It's putting you back in the position of power. You back in the position to really focus on your own happiness. Are you happy? If there's something you're unhappy with, what can you do different? What can you change? What does make you happy? How can you take a step-by-step approach to have more of that? If you find yourself stuck in a situation you are unhappy with, ask yourself, why are you still there? Why are you still there? Is it fear of the unknown? Like probably what's hiding under this rock here, or what the weather is going to be. Leaving any, and this is not a situation that's like, it's okay. This is like something that feels unhealthy. I'm going to go with the energies coming up. Do you see that? Oh, I might have to cut this reading short just for safety purposes. So maybe this is our big message here at the end. If you're in anything that doesn't feel healthy for you, you feel stressed out, you feel like you want to go to your cave, you feel like you even want to get out of the cave, out of the house, out of that situation, go anywhere else other than there. You know, if it makes you have anxiety, if it makes you cry, if it makes you question your light, your inner worth, and it feels toxic, it feels draining, it doesn't feel like it's elevating you, it feels like it's always tying you down, pulling you back, tripping you up, then what can you do to change that? And sometimes it's what did I see? The door? You know, tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. Sometimes you have to tell someone bye-bye. Sometimes you have to be the one to be like, bye-bye, I'm out of here. And sometimes it's a step-by-step, slow and steady thing that you can do that gets you there. Leaving toxic situations or people can be the best thing you could do for your soul and your spirit. Be fierce. It's telling you to be fierce, man. Sometimes this takes some strength to do. Maybe for some of you, it's a tiny little adjustment that makes all the difference in your energy and how you feel. For some of you, maybe it's a very big change. There are things falling from the trees. We're going to sum this up. You know, it could be a very big change for some of you. I'm also getting between that Hermit energy and the Knight of Pentacles. that sometimes when you're around toxic people or people that are always complaining or lack mentality or manipulators or fake people that wear a mask and aren't even truthful, when you are surrounded by it, sometimes you don't even see that it's going on until you remove yourself like the hermit from it, and or have something newly presented like a gift in your life that helps you see an energy that is the opposite from that. I keep hearing pull the plug on something. So maybe that's your energy. Maybe this is our reading. I'm gonna book it out of here. I got a little while to get to the beach over there. I hope this reading was helpful for you and something came through. I'm gonna put my phone away. I love you so much. I'll see you soon. Woo! Bye. As you can see, I made it home. Okay, my mom actually had to come and help me get out of the creek, though. It was kind of crazy. I couldn't see anything. I did fall in a couple of times. Thank goodness for my cooler backpack that I bought to put my tarot cards in and go to the creek with. But I took a little clip of what the trees look like, and it is quite a storm. There's quite a bit of wind. I'll put it at the end of this, but not to leave you guys on a cliffhanger. It's interesting because I said all that stuff about not pushing something to come through and let it come natural. I didn't expect it to be like a big old natural storm. Maybe there's a stormy situation that's about to blow in, but maybe it'll blow over pretty quickly. Maybe something's coming through to cool that scorcher down. Maybe it's recognizing the signs a little sooner and getting yourself into a position where you're not stuck in the creek in a weird situation because you saw the wind coming. So maybe it is navigating a storm differently. Maybe sometimes you just got to get through the storm. So that being said, let's get you a final message. So what came through? The goldfish, prosperity, spiritual abundance. Door, opportunities being presented to you. September, something around September being important, and asking yourself if you are in an unhappy position, whether that's where you live, the town you're in, the person you're with, the group you hang out with, the project you're working on, the environment that you tend to frequent. If there's anything that's not connecting to you vibrationally, if anything makes you feel off, you have to be like that hermit, go to the cave, see what your own vibration is, what you are drawn to, what is, I just get that you have like, I see shadows this way and I see this light this way. So when you have the biggest light, you do create the biggest shadow. But I feel like some of you are, I don't know, maybe not able to see under the surface of a situation. It's interesting because I'm getting a little bit, just so you guys know here, a little bit of the wolf in sheep's clothing energy. And I don't know why I got that all of the sudden. Maybe there's somebody that comes across very light, but their energy always makes you feel heavy. You know, somebody can have the perfect words, but if their vibration doesn't match, then you're gonna feel something that's a mismatch between the words and the energy, or the smile and how you, I'm getting mostly how you feel. So let's not leave you on the cliffhanger. Let's get you one final, I felt this was appropriate, Archangel Power Tarot message. What is one final message? Also, it was the other one, the slow and steady, you know, pacing yourself, deliberate work, something going on behind a closed door. That could even be what you recognize. Maybe you don't recognize how hard somebody is working. If there's that, what did I say, the twists of separation, maybe somebody has been doing some deep internal work with that hermit energy, and that separation is a gift, is a blessing, is the chance for somebody to really do some self-reflection on, it looks like with that last card that came through, some big changes that need to happen. So let's get you a final message from this tarot. What is one final message for the collective today, Please and thank you. Final message. The King of Michael. Page of Gabriel. So these could be two different people. They could be personalities, but I generally think of the Page of Gabriel as a message. It could be a younger energy. It's somebody that has all the potential in the world. If this is a character, if this is a person, it doesn't have to be somebody young. It's that person that gets excited and then they get fizzled out really fast. They start a project, but then they don't finish. This could be somebody that has way too many irons in, way too many fires, and they don't have anything organized or know how to put enough attention into something before it can grow. So they're attending this fire over there. They're not seeing 5 fires over there are already fizzling out. Or they start with one thing, but it doesn't really grow, how they thought. So they're like, why even continue to try? And then they poop out before something can really spark. It's like they sit there and it's like, what is that? When people go out in the woods and they're on that deserted island and they're like, I'm going to figure out, what is it? How to get the fire. And they're like, it's not working. And then they get a little spark, but sometimes you have to really put energy in it to get that fire. But once you get that fire going, you can keep it lit. Something like that. Like sometimes that first initial thing, maybe they did it once and they're like, I did it once. I don't know how to do it. I'm just going to sit here in the cold. But sometimes that is just a message of inspiration. That's somebody that sends you that little spark of creativity. They're like, ooh, you're really good at that. Have you ever considered this? And you get that feeling like that, oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. Like, it's really exciting. But then if you don't do more research or book that ticket or get the supplies or follow through on the plans that you talked about, you don't get into, the night, which is past the page and into the experience and hopefully into the king and the queen or the emperor, the empress, or the high priestess and the hierophant. So it could be that something comes through and it's like that little light bulb. It's like, ooh, it puts a little fire under your ass. You're like, that would be a good idea. But then maybe you need to write it down. Maybe you need to continue that idea so it's not just in idea land and it's really fueling the flames on something. I don't even know if I have my glasses here. Let's see. I need my glasses. I'll be right back. Hold on. Remember, when this is at the bottom, this is like the underlying current energy. This could be something under the surface you don't see yet. This could be what's coming in. This could be the spark that changes it all. You could be the spark that changes it all for someone else. It's following your passion. I definitely saw that earlier in the reading. Follow your passion. What makes you so excited to even think about, to even have a conversation about, that when other people hear you speak about your thing, your person, your idea, your experience, it doesn't matter what it is. It's anything that brings that energy. It's almost like people feel that energy. It feels so authentic. It feels so vibrationally high. It feels like love. It feels like joy. It feels like energy. It feels like enthusiasm. It feels like excitement. When other people feel that usually is why you are gifted maybe connections, but maybe also opportunities. When you follow your passion and what makes you happy, you are going to be led to the doors of opportunity that segue you to your ultimate destiny. But that's not just a, hello, I'm at my destiny and everything's good now. It's like, no, it's a constant. It's like what I saw with the continual cycles of the plowing of the fields, It's not that you get to your destiny, you get to your dream, your plaque's on the wall, you're good. No, you have another day. So how can you keep making those dreams expand all of the time? For some of you, you segue one dream and that becomes another dream. And then that becomes another dream. For some of you, you have multi-dreams. Is that even a word? And you're going to end up somehow combining them all together to be that, the beautiful spice of you. I am getting that for some of you, it's very distinct, different chapters in your life. So you may have gone to school and started a career on, one thing, and then you actually do something totally different later. For some of you, maybe it's even different chapters of places you've lived in the world or going to travel to. For some of you, maybe it's different partnerships that you've had. You know, think about your ex when you were 16 or 20 or 40 or whatever, and how that was such a different time than maybe another person that you were with, or how you feel now, or the difference from being with someone to being alone and by yourself, or when you were alone and by yourself to, you know, single, ready to mingle, but then you were actually in a partnership that was amazeballs. Or maybe you were in another partnership that wasn't so amazeballs. So what is it going to be when all of a sudden you are gifted someone in your life that is amazing, and it's just so different from what you had before? You embrace it. Whatever it is that's out there for you. I mean, it's in your soul's blueprint to have. You're going to recognize it when you're there. Follow your passion. You are ready for any challenge, opportunities. There's your opportunities for excitement and adventure. I mean, we had a little adventure today. Thank you for coming with me. I feel like that storm got me all amped up. I also feel like there is something coming through that I am tapping into here with your energy that is, I just heard exciting beyond measure. Like you can't even measure. I hear monumental something is. You got this king here. Maybe you're connecting to a king of swords. This is usually somebody who's very rational, very principled, very analytical, likes to weigh the pros and the cons. This is somebody that likes the truth, though. The King of Michaels is usually an air sign, but it doesn't have to be. And this is usually a fire sign, but it doesn't have to be. King of Michael is usually somebody, I mean, it says he's respected. You got Michael, which is the strength of God coming through, but it looks like the strength of God is coming through, and it relates to conversation. It relates to truth. It relates even to the throat chakra, living one's truth, backing up what you say, saying what you believe. This king is not going to be very happy, even if he has a big smile on his or her face outwardly. It's like a frowning that happens inside if he speaks about something, but that's not what his true desire or who his true passion or his true love is. You know, because somebody can speak logically and want to appear in a certain way, but if that's because it's connecting to a stigma or what society believes or what, you know, I don't know, I'm getting like the rule book says they have to do, but they're not being flexible, because the King of Michael has to be expansive in his mind. No one knows everything. So if you are so set on thinking that you know it all and not being open to new information, new experiences, new opinions, you know, new, I keep hearing environment or way of seeing maybe the same situation, then he's going to have tunnel vision. There also has to be with the King of Michael that connection to his heart. There's something here about yellow roses walking on this brick road and the doves of peace. I feel like this king is... Hold on, I hope she's not too loud. There's thunder outside as well. I very specifically heard the chosen one. That feels really big. It felt really big. Maybe this King of Michael is a chosen one. Maybe he has words that can change the world, that can heal the world. Maybe he has also somebody he chooses. I'm kind of getting that he maybe chooses somebody that could be to work with, to love, to open up with. I feel like the yellow roses, don't they symbolize friendship? So there's something about friendship here and feeling at peace. Maybe it's also with this strength energy, the strength to go to where it feels peaceful, if that is an environment. But it looks like he's following the path. He's not inside in the kingdom. He has his beautiful wings ready to fly with those doves. There's also something about the Holy Spirit working with this king, because the doves are the Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost. Also take note that I feel like that's the feminine energy, the connector. You know, you don't have that Trinity energy, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But I mean, I'm not going to get in a religion conversation, but I always felt it was weird that it was like the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, but never any connection to a feminine energy. I think that's what that is. Although I think God is not a feminine or masculine. It's just we can't even come close to our little brains processing what that is. It's just bigger than us, which is also why we have a connection with the angelic realm, because they are the closest in vibration to connecting with us that we can kind of get, you know, what all that is. We're going to get all philosophical here at the end. So upside down, the King of Michael can be pretty cold, a cold cookie, man. He can just say really harsh words. He can say words that are hurtful to others. He can also do that silent thing. Ignore something, ignore the words, ignore the, you know, the sword being passed to have a truthful conversation or an, you know, interaction. I'm getting with a, you know, because when he's in a good conversation, he offers somebody to feel or think however they want and doesn't really have a judgmental energy, but maybe he's judged somebody because they think really different. It could also be where he had full capacity to have a conversation and never had one. Maybe I just heard left somebody hanging or left somebody hurting or left somebody confused. Let's see, it's principled, rational, ambitious, respected. Wisdom and objectivity are important now. Stay in your integrity, a situation that calls for an honest and open, that's that open thing, communication. So it's being open to maybe hearing someone out. If there's that, whatever the card was that came through before, and there can never be honesty in a conversation. It's always, you know, swerving around, hiding something under the rug, never addressing the issue or the monster in the room or the root of a situation. It's always just simple, what is that, like generic conversation. Then I feel like that can't be ignored anymore, especially if there's something under the surface that's starting to kind of passionately bubble up. I feel like if there was anything that's being ignored, it needs to be addressed. Maybe the person that needs to start the conversation, say hello, bring something up, say, hey, I need you to sit down here. Or, hey, I just had this really amazing thing happen. Are you sitting down? Because that can go any way. You know, this could be a great opportunity somebody has here. And this doesn't have to be a person you know. This could be you embodying this energy. You know, and you're like, all right, I know it's going to live in this town forevs, guys. I know you've been my besties for 20 years, but are you sitting down because I have something really amazing? It's going to be a little adjustment. I'm going to have to fly you guys out to see me because I'm moving to this country because they just gave me the best opportunity ever. I'm going to miss you, but I'm going to take it. And maybe you get a good reaction. Maybe you don't get a good reaction. If this is a situation where someone's doing a big breakup, be like, are you sitting down? We got to talk about this, man. You know, this can't keep going on and on and on and on in the rotating door that I see before that, like circling door. Something needs to change here. And even if it's that maybe somebody doesn't think that their situation is unhealthy, but if this king believes where he is not his truth or his, I get like expansion or his happiness or his joy or his enthusiasm, where he can be a creative or free, where maybe this king feels like he's contained. I'm kind of getting tied up. Then where does it say here? His integrity, if he is always trying to make everyone else happy or trying to go with society, and that's the integrity, because that's what the rule book says. I feel like this king needs to throw the damn rule book out and go with the rules he is creating from the wisdom he has had in the truth of his own life or her own life, in true communion with God, with his higher self. And I feel like there's something being rewritten. I hope that made sense for some of you. I feel like it's big, but I don't know what it is. I feel like everyone's situation is different, but something needs to be talked about. If there is a reconnection, or I'm getting that song again. I should have looked up the words because I kind of only half-ass got the words before. You know, if it's the twists of separation, and let's say somebody wants you back for good, but they never address what the problem that made all the twists in the separation were, then how can you really heal or amend or not repeat that pattern if you let it completely go? If it was something that needs to be talked about and discussed so there can be mutual understanding, respect, and a learning to not get into a repeat cycle again, or to make something better or create a healthier energy with something, it's not going to just happen by default if it's something that really needs to be discussed. But if there's something that needs to be discussed, there's a conversation, there's a compromise or a mutual understanding, then it's not drudging it back up anymore either. If something is fixed, if something is healed, and somebody keeps using that to go back, well, you remember that one time when you did this? Now you're like opening up a wound that has, been trying to heal for a while. So somebody keeps ripping out the stitches because they're utilizing that to always go back to that thing. Like, I'll just bring that up when it's appropriate to use. And that's not helping something get better. It's just taking you back to the problem that you were supposed to be resolving. Then that also needs to be looked at. I hope that made sense for some of you. I don't think that's everybody's situation, but that might be a person in your life. You say it's fixed, it's done, it's over with, we hugged, we made up. So why do you keep going back there when that situation's not repeating, to just kind of give a little poke? So look at the people in your life that help heal with you, that want to actually see it get better. They're not afraid of addressing maybe that shadow or that situation. It's not having fear over it. It's just being truthful and honest. If you are honest, you don't have to retract what you thought you said to who and who and who and who, because you're always acting in that authentic energy. So maybe there's somebody that keeps backtracking too. I'm kind of getting that. It doesn't necessarily have to be this king. But if somebody keeps backtracking because they're kind of like not always really just given the blunt truth, and they're not knowing if they said everything to that person or what do they say over there, and that's uncomfortable. That's not typically the energy of this king. It's like somebody who's trying to be the king, but they're really just acting kind of immaturely, like up age. So be a situation that calls for honest and open communication. So I have no idea at this point how long this reading is going to be. So let's get one final from the universe. What is the final message? I'm starting to dry off a little bit. I was like dripping before. I guess I'll just leave these on because I'm going to have to read. Final message from the universe. Nope. What is the final message, please? And thank you. If you want to be more successful in life, your priority should be to focus on your mindset. If you're always looking at the problems, if you're always surrounded by negative people, if you're always in vibrations that feel unhealthy, it's going to affect your mindset. So maybe for some of you, you need to have some time to reset your mind or change your mind. All that you want, if you change your mindset, you can attract all that you want into your life. Trust that more is happening than what you can see. That's what I saw with that night. Something's happening. God's baking you a big old cake with some fancy icing on it and cherry on top. And that might be behind that closed door, but it's going to open up for you. And it's going to be something meant for you. And it's going to feel like that, what I see, that like golden twinkly light that like feels warm and inviting for you. It feels like the doves of peace. I don't know. I actually just heard a big word. I don't know why I heard that. I heard like not something that feels so torturous all of a sudden. That doesn't feel happy. Many forces are at work in your favor. Allow them to help you. This guy is powerful, but in that particular card, he does have his arms crossed. blocked. So you have to have your arms open and willing to receive these gifts and these blessings when they come in. You have to refocus your mind to say, okay, there's a door closed over there, not getting through. So where can I go that each step feels a little better and it feels like you're heading towards an open door? Or maybe for some of you, it's saying hello, making a phone call, opening up that door yourself. Be like, knock, knock, knock. Can I come in? And then wait to see the responses. I feel like that huge storm, wait till you see the end of this video. Blew over and I see the sun out all of a sudden. So maybe the sun's going to come out sooner than you thought. So with this, I bid you adieu again. I love you so much. I hope this reading was helpful and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. I love you so much. Bye.